Depending on the structure of the website, I'd imagine you've already got some evergreen content, so like an about me kind of page. So you're already talking about what you've done, maybe a, a like a discography, I suppose. So the amount of the books that you've already written, for example, or there's going to be a certain amount of static content that's going to remain there indefinitely. You'll update it sporadically when things change, but for the most part, that's not really going to be something that you'll be adjusting. So the best way to get fresh content onto any site is blog. If you can get a blog on your site and you can constantly plug or add additional content in there, even if it's on like a weekly or a monthly basis, if it's consistent, you're adding fresh content on there that people are going to read, they're going to take interest in. Potentially you're going to get some feedback on it as well, and it becomes very socially shareable. I mean, it gives you a massive mountain of opportunity. So yeah, the key is to get a blog set up. WordPress obviously is the biggest in the world for a good reason. It's extremely useful. So if you can get a good blog set up with a steady stream of content on there, then you're definitely on the right path to success.
Mm-hmm. And Sue, what are your thoughts on this one?
I was going to say exactly the same as Ashley. So you know, Google loves fresh content, and if you're getting content out there, say you're a crime writer and you're writing about writing crime fiction, then that's a great way of people finding you and finding out about your work. And it's also a good way of keeping people engaged in between your books coming out, but at a pace of your choosing. You know, and it allows you to kind of keep that distance in a way from people. So you're not having to engage around the clock, but you're still putting some content out there, which, as Ashley says, is very shareable. And keeps people interested. So yeah, I'd definitely suggest blogging. Yeah.
It's longer form as well. So where you have a tweet is going to be limited to 140 characters, where Facebook you shouldn't really be doing really long posts because it'll just get shortened anyway. You can really go to town on your blog. I mean, your blog could be 1,000 words long, or it could be 400 words long. I mean, it gives you the more ability to go into more depth given any regarding subject. If you wanted to go into real depth regarding a recent news story that might pick up some sort of social traction or some search traction, then go for it. I mean, it's your blog. You can discuss more or less whatever you like, and it takes off the reins that are kind of given to you when you have to use social media. Just allows you to go into a bit more depth, elaborate a bit further, and with that it's a bit more detailed and therefore more interesting to the reader.
And sometimes we work with people in, say, tech or finance or insurance, and you talk about a blog and they go, oh, I don't like writing, I can't stand it, oh, I don't know if I want to do this, and we're saying, but it's really important. Whereas if you're an author, then writing is what you're great at, so it shouldn't be too daunting, the thought of doing some more writing. And it can be a welcome break, actually, from writing a more long-form novel or more sort of factual book. Because these can be shorter, you know, you can play around with a few styles. So it might be a good way of almost relaxing, you know, giving your brain something else to focus on.
Okay, great. And have you got any, perhaps any good examples of blogs that you've seen, any blogs that you think work really well?
Well, if you look on publisher websites, so say Penguin or Hodder and Stoughton, they have some really good blogs there. And that can be a really good place to get ideas. So a lot of their authors will blog. They'll do just guest posts occasionally, or they'll pull in the posts from all their authors and just display them there. And then they'll write posts themselves as the publishers. So that can be a really, really good place to start. If you're just looking for ideas, you know, what's the best way to do it, how often, how long, what sort of topics authors go for. So yeah, I think that's a really good place to start.
And Andrew, I know you were... Oh, sorry, Ashley, go on.
Sorry, no, just on a more technical viewpoint, I was going to say, if you're looking more at sort of the search side of things, so SEO, then the Moz blog is a fantastic resource. It'll just constantly keep you informed about any potential changes that even you as a relatively small-time author and a relatively small-time website builder or user is still going to be extremely useful information. And it's definitely worth keeping an eye on there if you wanted to take the search elements relatively seriously.
And Andrew, I know that you work on our 1584 site, which is the Cambridge University Press blog. Is there anything that you've seen that works really well on the blog that perhaps an author could use when setting up or managing their own website at all?
So the 1584 blog, cambridgeblog.org, little plug there. It's a blog which is primarily our authors write the articles, and some of the articles might be just 400 words long, or they might be the more longer articles, or they might be really long articles which we then serialize over a number of posts, which is really good for bringing back regular readers. That blog uses WordPress, which Ashley's just mentioned. But we've found that articles that pick up the kind of topical stories tend to do really well in social sharing and traffic. People are really interested in what's happening now. So if you have, if your topic of research or study is linked to something that is topical in the news, then if you can blog on that topic or even just tweet on that topic, then you're going to get attention.
Because I think I saw on our blog from one of the most popular posts in the past year was a blog relating to Frozen. Is that right?
Right.
It was. One of our authors had found a way to connect Wagner to the Disney film Frozen. So
Right.
they'd managed to do that, and that blog post just, I don't want to say wipes the floor with all the other ones, but it does very, very well, and it has consistently done very well ever since we posted it.
Yeah, but I think that's quite a good example, Andrew, of an author who's really written about something that's obviously very, very topical and very current, and really it captures people's imagination, and that's what helps drive traffic. So.
Absolutely, and that's prevalent on social media as well. We didn't really touch on like the use of hashtags and the use of hashtags across Facebook as well, to a slightly lesser extent. But with Twitter and things like that, you can go and find the conversation. If you've got hashtag authors and you realise that, well, wait a minute, this is really popular. People are tweeting about this all the time. It has 10,000 tweets a day with this hashtag. You don't have to wait for your audience to come to you. You can go to them. You can go and engage with them, and it's definitely worth investigating anything that you might think is relevant, or certainly anything that's timely. Find it, engage with it, and you never know, where will it take you?
Absolutely.